Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we've always kind of taken our moon for granted. It's that silent, familiar face up there in the night sky. The official story is that it was born from this massive collision with Earth billions of years ago. But what if that story is wrong? Today, we are digging into sources that propose a pretty wild theory, that our closest celestial neighbor might not be natural at all.
So, let's just dive right in with this question from the legendary Isaac Asimov. See, he and other scientists have flat out said that based on what we know about physics, the moon just shouldn't be where it is. His question, right there, is the perfect launchpad for exploring a theory that honestly challenges everything we thought we knew.
All right, so the first piece of this puzzle isn't found in a rock sample or a crater. Nope. According to these sources, it's found in the cold, hard language of math. It's a relationship so perfect, you really have to wonder if it's just a coincidence.
This number right here, 400. It seems simple enough, but it's at the absolute heart of the first major anomaly. Proponents of this theory say this number is the key, the thing that starts to unlock a huge mystery that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
Okay, so get this. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon. But the moon just so happens to be 400 times closer to us. This insane ratio creates something truly breathtaking, a perfect, total solar eclipse. The alignment is so exact it doesn't happen anywhere else in the known universe. So, is that just a happy accident, or is it the first clue that we're looking at something that was deliberately placed?
And the strange math doesn't even stop there. The oddities just keep piling up. First, our moon's orbit is almost a perfect circle. That's a huge statistical anomaly. Most moons have these chaotic, oval-shaped paths. Then there's its size. It is gigantic compared to Earth. But maybe the most important point of all is this. Its gravity is just right to stabilize our planet's wobble, which is what gives us the predictable seasons that allowed complex life to evolve in the first place. Another coincidence? Or is it by design?
The mathematical coincidences are frankly startling, but they're really just the beginning. The physical evidence gets even more bizarre. And this isn't coming from some ancient text or a fringe website. This comes directly from the meticulously recorded data of the Apollo missions. So, as part of their experiments, NASA intentionally smashed parts of the Apollo spacecraft onto the moon's surface. The results were absolutely astonishing. Instead of a quick thud like you'd get on Earth, the seismometers picked up the entire moon reverberating. It rang like a massive hollow bell. The impact from Apollo 13, it caused the moon to ring for more than 3 hours straight.
Well, that strange ringing led scientists to an even stranger conclusion about what the moon is made of. It is way, way less dense than Earth. So much less dense, in fact, that it led a NASA scientist, Dr. Gordon MacDonald, to look at the data and suggest something pretty radical, that the moon might actually be hollow.
And here's the absolute crux of the issue. It's a scientific paradox. As the famous astronomer Carl Sagan himself said, a natural satellite cannot be a hollow object. So, if the data from the Apollo missions says the moon behaves as if it's hollow, but science says nature doesn't make hollow moons, then what in the world are we looking at?
Well, that huge gap between the scientific data and the laws of nature, it opens the door to another possibility. And it's an idea that's echoed in some of our oldest stories and was even formalized during the Cold War space race. It's the idea that the moon wasn't formed here, it was placed here.
Believe it or not, there are actual historical accounts from different cultures about a time before the moon was in our sky. Ancient writers like Aristotle talked about a group of people in Greece they called the Proselines, which literally means those who were before the moon. And this isn't just some one-off story. Zulu folklore tells of two brothers who stole a giant dragon's egg, hollowed it out, and rolled it into the sky. Could these myths be fragmented memories of a real event?
This idea went from myth to modern theory in 1970, thanks to two highly respected Soviet scientists, Michael Vossen and Alexander Sherbakov. Their hypothesis was just staggering. They proposed that the moon is an ancient, hollowed-out planetoid that was engineered and then brought into our orbit. They argued its rocky outer layer is just camouflage for a tough, metallic inner hull, a hull built from the very same kind of resilient, refined metals like titanium and zirconium that, surprise, we found in abundance in the lunar soil.
So, just to recap, we have impossible math, weird seismic readings that suggest it's hollow, and ancient legends of a time before the moon. But this final pillar of the theory, this might be the most shocking of all.
and it comes from looking very, very closely at official photographs taken by NASA.
In among all the craters and dust, researchers poring over these photos found this object. They've nicknamed it the Shard. It's a towering spire, and it looks geometric, almost crystalline, and it is rising a staggering 1.5 miles from the ground. Nothing like it should exist naturally.
And it's not the only thing. Other anomalies have been documented in NASA's own archives, like the Tower, an unbelievable structure that's over 5 miles high, and something that looks like a bridge stretching for 12 miles over a crater. And the critical argument here is that the moon has no wind and no water. There's no erosion. So you just can't get sharp, geometric, towering objects like these through natural processes.
And the list just keeps going. Further analysis of the photographic record claims to have found the Blair cuspids, which look like a clear pattern of obelisks. There's also a complex structure nicknamed the Castle that seems to be suspended miles above the surface. And maybe weirdest of all, what appears to be the remnants of vast, shattered glass-like domes covering huge parts of the landscape.
So where does all this leave us? Is it all just a string of unbelievable coincidences? The perfect eclipse, the perfect orbit, the hollow ringing, the ancient myths, the bizarre photos? Or is it a trail of breadcrumbs laid out for us, leading to a conclusion that is truly extraordinary? The sources we've explored today present a compelling case that our moon is far more than just a rock in the sky. The final answer, as always, is up to you. But I will say this, you'll probably never look at the moon the same way again.